Welcome to Adult Community Learning Training for 2018-19. So for the first time ever, we've decided to make training more accessible to you by putting together this online module. I hope you find it useful, informative, and then something that you can refer back to over the course of the academic year. Firstly, welcome to Adult Community Learning, or ACL as we sometimes call it. Now, some of you are new to Adult Community Learning and some of you are experienced ACL practitioners, but the following module helps to set the scene and gives everyone a clear guide on what is required throughout the academic year. There are over 800 learners on ACL programmes each academic year. Some students attend 10-week courses which they can extend into the spring and summer term. Some prefer one-day workshops and others shorter courses. Now, we're always looking for new course ideas, so please do come forward if you have an idea for a new course. So let's start our training module. I'll start on slide 1. So today we hope to cover the following. We'll look at who's who in adult community learning at Chichester and Brinsbury, completing registers, preparing your adult community learning course. So we'll look at RAPA, and that's the equivalent of an extended scheme of work which we use specifically for adult community learning. We'll look at learner voice, expectations for lesson planning, and then finally lesson observations. So I'm Helen Loftus, I'm Vice Principal at Chichester College. I support many of the college curriculum areas, with adult community learning being one of them. I work closely with your heads of learning, and these include Andy Chater. Andy is the head of learning for science, technology, engineering and maths, which we call STEM. Hilary Heal, who's the head of learning for business and management and languages. Lisa Smith, head of learning for performing and visual arts. Julia Williams, head of learning for hair, beauty and hospitality. Mark Howard, head of learning for horticulture, arboriculture and agriculture, and Ali Bell, who's the head of learning for animal management, equine and dog grooming. Your head of learning is your line manager, but we are also supported by Jerry Griffiths, who's the quality manager, as well as Hilary Lewis, the ACL coordinator. Hilary will be able to help you with most queries, and for many of you, she will be your single point of contact. Now, completing registers is really important, and we use EBS to register learners. Please make sure you complete your registers at the beginning or end of each lesson. If you don't have an EBS login or you're unsure how to use EBS, please speak with your line manager or Hilary Lewis, who will be very happy to help you. If, for whatever reason, EBS isn't working, please take a paper register or email attendees to Catherine Shipham, who oversees all of our registers. Now, we do monitor attendance centrally, and we wouldn't expect attendance to drop below 90%. If a learner is missing from your group for 2 consecutive weeks without notice, it's a good idea to get in touch to forward any lesson resources they've missed or give some reassurance that it's okay to come back. So ACL uses a slightly different planning and tracking system to other classroom-based courses. The paperwork is specifically designed for non-qualification courses, and it helps the learners have a say in what they'll be learning. It's important to keep a course folder for your courses so that you have all your course information to hand. Now, the file should include RAPA A, RAPA B and RAPA C forms. These forms will then be referred to during lesson observations, used in end-of-year course reviews, and Ofsted could look at these when the college is inspected. They will be keen to see the progress each of your learners is making. This is what RAPA Form A looks like. The form is divided into 3 columns. In column 1, you should identify the topic you plan to cover for each week of the course. For example, in digital photography, the topic might be studio lighting. In column 2, you should identify the specific learning objectives for each lesson. The objectives should be smart and focus on what you want the learners to do by the end of the lesson. We've included a list of objectives at the end of these slides, but an example following on from the example above might be: identify 3 concepts behind the safe use of monoblock flash, or create 2 studio portraits using studio lighting. In column 3, you should note how you plan to check that your learners are learning and making progress against the lesson objectives you've set. You might decide to use several methods, such as question and answer, a quiz, or you may ask the learners to present something they've made. So this is what RAPA Form B looks like. On this form, you should list the names of learners in each of your groups. You'll notice objectives 1 to 10 are listed across the top of the form, which link back to the lesson objectives you planned in RAPA A. Now here we ask you to tick whether each of your learners has made progress within the lesson to achieve the week's lesson objectives. This provides a fairly quick and simple overview of how well your students are progressing, and then enables you to provide extra help and support as necessary. This is what Form C looks like, but here's the twist. This form should be partially completed at the start of the course and then reviewed at the end of the course. Ideally, you would share this form with your learners before the course starts. This way, the students can set out their expectations of the course and enable you to build some of these into your course design. It is important you ask the same group of learners to complete Form C at the end of their courses, when they highlight how well they feel they've achieved. It's also good to discuss progression opportunities too. There may be another ACL course they're interested in, or a qualification course they might like to try. Listening to the learner voice is really important to us. This helps shape what we do and how we do it. We've already mentioned RAPA Form A, but there are also 2 questionnaires in the autumn and spring terms to help identify any areas students would like us to improve, and it's important to reflect on this when planning your course for the following term or year. Please keep evidence of lesson planning in your course file. You don't need to complete a full lesson plan for each lesson, but we do need to see evidence of learning for each of the lessons in RAPA A. There are some examples of planning templates at the end of these slides, but detailed notes are just as good. All adult community learning staff will be observed by their line manager or a professional learning coach, or a PLC, at least once over the duration of your course. You will need to provide a more detailed lesson plan for that lesson, and these forms can be either emailed to you in advance or you can find them on ChiDrive. We would also encourage you to peer observe, as we can often pick up new ideas from each other, and these are often the best ways to learn new approaches. Lesson observations are ungraded, but you should have a conversation with your observer before you are observed in case there is an area of your teaching you would like more help with. You should expect a follow-up with your observer to look at good practice to share with your colleagues, or any areas of development to explore. Progress is at the heart of your lesson observation, so your observer will be looking to see what that looks like in your group. So you now have a good understanding of what we need to get your adult community learning course underway.